Let's go.
What's
What up?
up?
What up? What up?
Fucking
OVOT, happy
Friday.
Friday. That's right.
Yes, sir.
How's everybody? How you doing over
OVOT.
there, Biggie? We were up.
Man, it's Friday, and man, it's my favorite day of the week. There's something about it, Savage. I don't know. I have the best thoughts. Just feeling jazzed about the weekend. Gonna go have some beers with a good friend. It's looking good. It's looking good. How about yourself, man?
Man, you know what? I woke up today and it was snowing outside.
No,
Absolutely
man.
crazy. Absolutely crazy. 30, 31 degrees out, snowing. Woke
Ooh.
up, was texting our moderators inside what is it, Web3 now, not Lad City? Like
Yeah.
Hash
Hell
and
yeah,
Llama.
man.
I was like, it's
Hmm.
snowing outside. Or Llama said, is it snowing outside? I was getting ready to say no, and I opened the window. Fucking snowing. Absolutely
That's
crazy.
insane, man. That's crazy. I am not hearing that, Savage. Hello
Yeah.
to our friends, by the way, Marty McFly and FTQ and whoever else is out there listening to us. Thank you for joining us in this new Web3 episode. Uh, I am really, really jazzed about this new merger. Um, what did he say? F in chat. I don't know what's going on. Oh, F in chat. What does that mean, Savage? Is this
You know,
something
I
that I
have
do
no
not
idea.
comprehend?
Uh,
Okay.
Nifty's on a whole new level. On a
Speaking of
whole new
Ebonics and
level.
shit. Right on, man. Right on, dude. Well, Savage, I have been pondering a lot about this Web3 merge. And for the past couple of days, I've been banging on this drum, and I will do so again today, which is to invite our viewers, our listeners to participate, to join us in this new uh, adventure that we're all embarking on Web3. Join our Discord, send us your DMs. If you have ideas, we want to have it. I think we're living in a very special time, Savage. And I have a question for you. Do you think the people that were living during the Renaissance were conscious of the fact that they were living in the Renaissance? Because I think we're
Um,
living through a Renaissance right now, Savage. And hindsight is 2020. But I don't know if you're familiar with who Raul Paul is from Real
oh, yep.
Vision. Yeah, right. Brilliant
Yep.
person. He's got his whole thesis about the exponential age, similar to, I guess, what the singularity would be, right? The convergence of all these technologies coming together to completely revolutionize our society. And like Ferris Bueller once said, if you don't stop and take a look, you're going to miss it. And so I want to implore our audience to keep their eyes open. That little idea you have in the back of your head that you've been wanting to try, now's the time to do it. And Web3 is the people to do it with. There's not enough risk takers, I think, in the world right now. And I understand there's a lot of spooky shit happening, right? But,
Oh, yeah.
you know, the worst risk is the one not taken. And this is such a gift, that even in this bear market, I am absolutely jazzed about the things that are to come. So
Hell
what do you
yeah.
think?
I, I'm, I feel that. I don't know if they would have known it was the Renaissance, but probably. I mean, everyone now on the news is talking about we're in the newest recession. This is the recession. And then you hear Biden on the news saying, I don't think there will be a recession. It's like, come on, buddy. What are you talking about? I think we're already in the middle of one. At least that's definitely how
Seriously.
it feels. But, I'm excited. This is the weekend. Like you said, this is my favorite day of the week. I'm going to go out tomorrow, see if we can get one more bonfire in before it actually starts to snow and stick. Because,
Sounds like you need one, dude.
hell
How
yeah.
big are these bonfires, please? Because to me, like, this is like probably like half a tree kind of thing. Is that what you guys do?
If I had it my way, yeah. We used to stack up pallets like one on top of each other. We had like a 13 pallet fire one time.
Oh,
It
that's
got
smart,
cold.
man.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it because then they breathe and like the
Yeah.
fire can get really big. We used to live right next to a freeway and we had the cops called on us a couple times. They'd come by and check us out and be like, we figured this is what it was. I think we were here last week. But, it was just 13 pallets and then it would look like a house is on fire when he drove past us on the freeway. people, oh, I think there's a fire. Yeah, there's a nice fire. You can come by and hang out. But now we both live in residential neighborhoods, so little fire pit in the back. You're throwing on some logs or whatever like that. The women are around now. All of us have
Oh,
women that are responsible. They keep the fire
you know,
appropriate.
not too crazy. And I imagine as like the time passes by, like somebody starts getting that idea of like leaping through the fire and stuff like that, right? There's always one dude, right, that just like
There's always
wants
one guy. It's never me.
to.
It's never me.
Maybe.
I don't drink a lot anymore. So that brilliant idea never happens to pop in my head.
Now we are getting some really cool comments right now regarding my
Yeah.
statement about the recession. And you know what, Llama? I don't think we're that far away. That's the whole thing about these like growth curves, right? Like sometimes, you see them and the growth is like incremental until it becomes exponential, right? I don't know. Like there's something in the air. Maybe it's just the Friday speaking, but I really don't. I was thinking a lot lately also about Robert Frost. The poet has that very famous poem, like two roads diverged, one road diverged into two, or something like that. They even made the road less traveled. And no, it's not the road less traveled, sir. I had it here, but it's a poem that's like for the longest time been misunderstood, right? The road not taken, and the book
There
was
you go.
called The Road Less Traveled.
Okay.
And like most people like to reference that poem about like taking the hard knocks of life, right? Like taking the road not taken, being a pioneer. But Robert Frost always mentioned that actually, if you read the poem closely, both roads were the same. And it's like basically how us humans tend to overemphasize the importance of our choices. Now, of course, there are some life choices like who you marry, what you study in college that definitely have a large impact on your life, right? But in general, like I think we give so we guess I guess we get like paralyzed into like the choices that we make, right? And like what we're gonna take and try. And in the end, I think it's more important to just try, right? Not be, as Roosevelt used to say, to be the man in the arena, right? To take action. And man, I honestly feel like there's no better time to do so than now. There's only 250 million people in crypto right now. I was listening to like Tim Ferriss with Brian Armstrong. 250 million people out of the billions that we are. That's early, man. That's really early. And so again, I am just pumped to be here with you and be a part of Web3, and to have like discovered this space that's given me so much, And so I want to implore people to just freaking join us, to take action, even if it's not with us. We'll support you, It's just, it's a renaissance, Llama. It's a renaissance. Trust. um,
I mean, that's
like that.
definitely that's you know what, you bring in some good insights on Fridays. I love the vibe you bring.
I,
On the weekdays they have that get in the car energy, and then Fridays it's just all positive, and we're gonna make it. That's how
well,
I feel too.
I think we need to get inspired, And here's another like analogy that I have been pondering. I know you're familiar with Dante Alighieri. He's old Italian poet, wrote the Divine Comedy, most renowned by it from the Inferno, right? When he
Okay.
was writing this magnus opus that is now like highly appreciated and referenced, he wrote it in Italian, and what we know today to be modern day Italian. But back in the day, Savage, don't know if you knew this, like the clergy and the upper class, the people that were the powers, the movers and shakers back in that day, they only spoke Latin. They called Italian the vulgar tongue. You did not speak
Hmm.
Italian unless you were lower class. And now, lo and behold, it's one of the most beloved languages in the world. Everybody wants to speak Italian, right?
Hey,
And
it's got the best accent.
you read that book, and it's just so rich and so beautiful, you know. And I think that is fucking crypto right now, man. I think that's what's crypto. And we have all these other people saying that no, we got to stay in Web 2, in these walled gardens because we need to be protected. But we don't. We don't fucking need protection. We need sovereignty. We need freedom. And that's what crypto's here to do, man. And if you learn that language now, and if you start taking action now, son, you're going to be set for life. So,
hey, that's the goal, right? That's the goal. I know that's why we're out here grinding. You're going to see people disappearing because of the bear market. Don't give any attention to them. We're all here to stay, right? We're gonna make it. The grind is too strong. You just don't give up on something just because the world's not going right. It's part of life.
Exactly, and like I think that if you're here right now, yes, you're probably feeling some pain because your bags aren't doing so well, but you're probably here because you're passionate about something. I don't know what it is. NFTs, gaming, DeSci, whatever it may be, man. If you look around, there are like minds like just dedicated to this whole space, and I think this next bull run, as Q likes to reference and give, that is going to be something to behold, man. And I think we will see these like exponential changes. And you know what, like, to me, like one of these signals, one of these catalysts is all this regulation that's going on right now, right?
Yep.
Freaking nuts. It's absolutely crazy. And I love that our people are clapping back. Did you see that thing about tornado? Obviously we're all familiar with the fact that a lot of monies got frozen because they decided to remain private and use what in my opinion is a right. But I am glad that the community is clapping back, saying, no, man, this is a right. Like, I'm not going to be living like a fucking criminal because I'm exercising something that is my divine right. And so I think we are at that stage, Savage, where we're going to get more clarity. And then, I mean, do you know how many billions of dollars are sitting in the sidelines, just waiting, just praying for some clarity to just come pouring in? And we're already here.
Hey, you know what? People have been talking a lot about the BAYC and regulation that they're going after them. I think that's it's going to happen at some point in time, right? Like, it was guaranteed it was going to happen at some point in time. So I'm glad that they're starting it now, because let's get the balls rolling. Maybe we can actually get some, definitive regulation in this space so we know how we can proceed and our industry can actually grow. Because, I think that's what's holding a lot of people back right now, is just it's so speculative. People just don't know what's going to happen, what the government's going to say. And no one wants to invest in everything and then have the government rip it right out from underneath you.
We can't allow it.
Heartbreaking.
It requires active participation, right? That's what self-sovereignty is about. You cannot be a passive spectator. You need to get involved, right? And that's what we're seeing, which is so inspiring, man. I'm even looking forward I'm actually looking forward to these like next elections in the United States. Yeah, man, because I think you're starting to see this mobilization, right? Like, people understand that like nobody's gonna deliver this shit to you. You gotta go fucking take it. You gotta go and like demand it. And we're doing that. Like, I'm seeing it around, and we're doing it. And that's why all these investors and all these people want to get involved, because we are not 2.0, we're 3.0.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So you sent me this topic before, and this David Hoffman guy saying he's got dusted from some tornado cash, and now for the rest of his life he's forced to file a report reaffirming that I'm not a criminal. I don't intend to waste my time like that. And then he's like sending a letter over to Janet Yellen and stuff. So, like you said, people are clapping back. That's absolutely crazy. It's for the rest of your life you have to file that.
It's insane, man. And shout out to the bankless people that have been, moving this space forward, dedicated to it. I'm a part of the DAO. I'm very passionate about that community and what they've done and continue to do, because they don't have to, and putting themselves out there like that, also like brings unwarranted attention, maybe attention that they don't want, little more aggression than you would want, but they're doing it because they're trying to inspire all of us to do the same, man. Raise up our hands and be like, no, 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 no. You're not gonna mess with this up, right? It's too good.
Yep.
Exactly. So, hell yeah, hats off to you, David Hoffman.
Yeah. That's nice that he's doing that. And then he's putting evidence out on Twitter so he can show the rest of the community, like, hey, you know, I'm not in this alone. When you guys fight this, you're not in this alone. This is how we're going to get like real change in the space, is sticking together. I mean, not letting people just bully us around regardless of who they are. If you think something's
Hey,
wrong,
they're there to
speak
serve
up.
us, you know?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's been twisted for the longest time, but they are public servants. They are supposed to do our, you know, our what we want. Uh, Unfortunately, yeah, it's been manipulated for the longest time, but no longer. Transparency is coming. You will not be able to hide your shenanigans.
Yeah, I know. I've been watching the news and seen, you know, Biden over there in the Middle East trying to get gas prices down, and that's probably what, all just for the elections. And it's
Of
like,
course.
I think your ship has sailed. There's a lot of real unhappy people
And now that you
right
bring
now.
that up, you know, I don't know if you saw the latest from Jamie Dimon mentioning exactly what you're talking about. And like I think he like stepped out of, not stepped out of line, but like out of character with the way they usually talk about things, you know, and he really went after these policies, right? Where it's like, yeah, ESG, very nice, but you know, we need to start like pumping oil our own. You know, we cannot be, you know, going hand in hand. I think it was the word he used, to Venezuela and to Saudi Arabia for oil. You know, like there's some dark clouds in the horizon, and there's some real like people need to step up, right? And I think we're gonna see that. We will.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how, like you said, this election goes. I think this might be one of the times the younger generation has gonna vote in mass numbers, I think. And if you're not appealing to the younger generation, I think this election you will lose, because it seems like there's a lot of people far more interested in policies and what's going on in the world right now, just than I've ever seen. I know when I was growing up, my generation, you know, was not interested in politics. It
And
seems
how
like,
and it's baffling, right? Because it's
yeah,
these fucking dinosaurs that are like on their way out, gonna leave us with all this cleanup, all this mess. No, 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 it's not happening, man. Shout out to Thomas Erickson about the new Italian PM. Yeah, man, Europe, I think, is a poster child right now for this, right? I mean, the whole world, but uh, you're really seeing that stuff happen over there right now, especially. Um,
yeah, that's crazy. What's going on over there? Their gas prices have to be insane. Why don't we ask the chat if you're over, you know, if you're not American, what's your gas prices looking like right now? Because seems like there's a lot of people are going to be struggling for gas. Some Ukrainians or Russians might just get that stuff turned off. So it's going to be an interesting
hey,
winter.
we got DJ Savage here doing bonfires throughout winter. You're all invited. If it starts getting real cold in your houses, you know where to go.
Yeah. Hey, that's all right.
Oh,
We
Marty
chopped down some
McFly.
trees in the subdivision, so I stacked out a bunch of logs out here. Been meaning to have a fire at my place for a couple of months and just haven't done it. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Maybe right in the middle of winter, like you said. That's about the
Yeah,
appropriate time, right?
you're just a stone's throw away from me. I'll make it up there.
Hey, you know what? My spare bedroom's open right now too. It used to be like off limits because I was mining a bunch in there, so it was like always hot and no one wanted to be in there. But hey, it's open now. Miner's off, so you know it was nice. I built a second streaming computer so I could offload some streaming power. You know,
No, okay. Very cool, man.
you gotta
Very,
like
very
that. You
cool.
gotta like that little bit of upgrade to the technology or whatever. You know, actually, what it did is it freed up the laptop I had at my desk, and then I'm using that for gaming. So all week this week, I've been downloading ROMs and emulators. 1,100 games. I got a bunch of PS2, PS3, Xbox, 64, GameCube, Super Nintendo, Nintendo. Like it's fire. It's fire. I've been having so much fun this week. The girlfriend wanted to play a couple of video games. and was saying, let's go buy some stuff. And I was like, I've owned all of these games and all of these systems. Let's just, let's go grab them and then we will have them forever.
Man, what do you usually like to play, Savage?
You know, I haven't gamed in a long time. Probably since I've been doing all of this different Web3 stuff. You know, I've like, I don't know, issues doing stuff in moderation. So when I dove into NFT and crypto, you know, I stopped playing video games, stopped doing a bunch of stuff because, you know, you're just doing news and attending Twitter
Yeah, for sure.
spaces and different stuff. What about you?
Man, it's been a while also, but I'm pretty annoyed about like the whole Google thing where they're taking out Stadia. I was pretty pumped about that. You know, I bought it originally to play Cyberpunk, and man, okay, I did use the cheat codes because I wanted to get all the cool weapons and the cars and everything. But man, like, you know, my progress and everything was just so freaking dope. And I'm gonna lose all that just in time for, like, I guess they did recently like an expansion pack. My brother-in-law was telling me that he's a huge Cyberpunk you know, fan, and he was telling me how cool it is and like all these different worlds that they open up. And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to play it. I'd love to check it out, but all my shit's on Stadia, and I'm not gonna start from zero again. And they probably already patched up all those like cheat code things that I was using, where I was like a cajillionaire. So I'm like, I don't know, I want to start again. But man, I do miss playing it. Like it's I think it's like one of those things that really helps to unplug from being in front of the computer all the time. I don't know if that happens to you, Savage. Like, you know, you're in front of the computer all the time, reading and looking at these numbers and everything. You step out, and it's still like, you know, there's like residue like pouring. You know, your wife or your girl starts talking to you, and you're like, you're still over in the computer, and like, man, few things can unplug you like that. I think gaming's one of them.
I heard you talk about using your Quest in a meditation on the Web3 morning show.
Dude, I am such a fan. Okay, if you guys have a Quest, I highly it's like the one thing I'd love to get some recommendations for games because I haven't found one that I liked yet. I've tried the golf game and the was it some of the newer ones, hot fud or whatever, the one where you're like shooting somebody, whatever. I mean, the thing that I use it like singularly for, it's right there, Savage. It's meditation. It's called Trip, and it's really cool. I think uh you know, I don't know if you've done what is it called, the isolation like float tanks ever before.
I
Joe
have
Rogan
not,
is like Joe
bro. I want to
Rogan
do
is really
one.
big on it, right? Like he likes to take an edible and go into that shit and float off into space. And I think he also mentioned that he has like earphones and he's got like a projection on top. I think that's the closest thing you can get to without having to have like a saltwater bath tank in your house.
Okay.
But dude, like they I don't know, it just blows my mind. Whenever I'm a little bit too like stuck in my head or whatever, I put that on to like a 15-20 minute session, and it works, dude. It works like magic.
I have a Quest, what, Oculus 2 or whatever it is. I bought it so I could like use some of my different NFTs on camera or in the metaverse or, you know, something like that. But I haven't used it in a while, and I heard you mention that the other day, and I wrote that down because Trip app. Did you have to pay for that one, or is that a free one?
I'm sure they have like a free sample or whatever, and then I'm sure they have a, you know, it's the free infamous freemium model, but well worth it. I think I don't know if like I was even lucky like when it came out, like I might have gotten like a lifetime kind of deal or something. But it's really dope because you can like select the world that you kind of want to float around in, and then you can have like voice guided meditation or not. But it's really dope. I think Keanu Reeves was like an investor in it, and like I think he speaks well about it. Like I think that's how I found it. I was like, if it's good for Keanu, right? If it's good for Neo, uh, must be good for everybody else. Highly recommend. And man, AZ Modi, I will eventually need to reach out to you and ask you how the hell you're doing what you're doing. But I've been very curious about that, like how to access Web3 like virtual worlds via regular gaming consoles and stuff. I guess you've been able to do it with Steam Deck. That sounds interesting. Um,
I was looking
how,
at the Steam Deck the other day. I guess I have a Switch, which is the smaller version of a Steam Deck. So,
yeah,
but that definitely looks cool. Yeah, Asmodee's always got some of the best news and some of the best tips. Definitely one of our best community members out there, always bringing great information. Might have been here longer than me. You know what? I think he might have. Why don't we ask him how long you been in the community, my brother? Feel like you've always been in here.
yeah. I think like when one of these like last episodes, like I guess he must be on the like gaming side because he seems to be very knowledgeable about it. And were you the one that invited me? Because I'm still waiting for that invite. I don't know. Somebody invited me. It's like we need to get him on such and such show or whatever. I am down. I'm down. Just let me know what I need to get. But
Yeah.
I miss gaming. In short, I miss gaming Savage. And in winter, like these last months, like getting towards the end of the year, it just I don't know. Like they're just much more conductive, right? God knows why
Yep.
to stay indoors,
Yep.
and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely the feel that I've got. It's cold outside. I was like, this is the perfect time to play some video games. I know Microsoft announced they were doing a new deal with Facebook and the Metaverse. That's kind of interesting for Microsoft to stick their brand next to Facebook, who's having a horrible year. So the big brands are teaming up together and doing all this Metaverse stuff. I heard Giff say on the morning show that he thinks the Oculus that they brought out is going to be a big hit for this Christmas. What do you think about that?
I think it could be, but it depends all on the economic factors and the environment they were in by December, November. I don't know when people do their Christmas shopping, but I think most everybody right now is trying to be as conservative as possible, rightly so.
Yep.
But I'm very curious that more than anything, like what I want to see is how heavy it is, because this thing like it is heavy. Like I can do like a 15-20 minute meditation session on it, but beyond that, it does start kind of like fuck. So I'd love to check out, and also like to see how like if it's really an incremental change, like something substantial, or if it's the typical like Apple thing where it's like it's one more megapixel this time, woohoo, right?
Yeah. I still think like Google Glass is what it needs to be, or like a contact, so it's not so heavy and you can actually move around and not get dizzy. That seems to be the number one thing I hear from my friends when they try out my Quest is like, I got dizzy doing that after a while. So I think the augmented reality is where it's at, where you still see your surroundings, but maybe they change it into something else so it looks like something else.
What are you looking most forward to from augmented reality? I'll tell you mine. You go first, though.
Shoot, I don't really like too many people, so being able to sit in my living room and converse with people is the absolute greatest, where you can feel like you're in a room with them. If I just want to leave, I can be like, oh, my internet dropped. Sorry.
Jeez.
I'll be able to mute myself, talk shit about, someone in the room with the girlfriend. You don't even have to like let everyone else know. You can just both mute each other. And then I was going to learn sign language so I could talk with the girlfriend when we were at parties and no one else would understand because she's got a deaf sister. So she signs. And I've always wanted to learn how to sign. But hey, in the metaverse, I can just mute myself, tell her to mute herself, and then we could just talk shit and people won't even know. So I think that's my favorite. What about you?
Man, so several things, but like one of them that I think it's gonna be like a godsend for me is like I'm really bad at names, Savage. Believe it or not, horrible at names. And how cool would it be to be like wearing those glasses? And there's always that fucking douchebag like across the room, like, yeah, you're like, shit, this motherfucker knows me, and I don't remember this. Who is this? I'd love to have something just be like, so and so works at so and so. His
just all
favorite
their
drink is this.
information
Hey,
just displays.
how you doing? And it's crappy too. Like you do feel crappy, right? Because like sometimes it's like somebody you actually like, and it's like, hey, yeah, but I can't tip of my tongue, right? So that's gonna be like, I think, one of like the godsends for me. Other than that, I can totally like see it like on trips, like traveling, and obviously directions is one that's referenced a lot. But I think like traveling, like, you know, like sometimes you see like a cool building or like a spot that's like really interesting, and maybe like you can Google it and find out something like very unique about it, right? Like historical and stuff, when it was built, or what it was, you know, who designed it, stuff like that. You know, walking through museums and stuff, and not having to buy those like ugly ass freaking headphones and like have that lady telling you shit. You
Yeah,
know, that's dope, man.
I like that. You know, I'm I'm kind of frugal, so traveling and doing stuff like that feel like, you know, that's what old age is for when we're retired for, right? But
That's why you
hey,
want
if
the
I'm
metaverse, right?
that's why I want the metaverse. Exactly. You get the exact same experience without all the people. You don't have to go touch a bunch of dirty people. Blah. And then you can
Man.
get the whole experience, man. That's what I'm excited for. Just instantly traveling somewhere, getting to see how dope it is, and then being able to unplug, you know, relax, rewind, go back to, you know, not being
And that,
connected.
and now, as rewarding as the metaverse and AR is, like, I think there's something to be said that, like, again, what we were talking about, we spend so much time in front of our screens, right? And when you're done with that screen, you just hop onto another screen, your TV, and then into your phone. So there's something to be said about IRL, and it's one thing that I am kind of like getting really pumped about, Savage, is seeing IRL stuff starting to really take off in the crypto space. Case in point, number one case in point right now, Beeple's new, you know, show space, uh, factory. I don't know. Can you imagine what that is going to be like? And what I love is that it's in Charleston, South Carolina. It's not in Miami or New York or Los Angeles. You know, it's where he's from, right? And you know, this is exactly the stuff that I want to see, right? Like, uh, crypto start really having an impact in the communities where its users find themselves in, right? And I mean, people being like the OG, one of the OGs of the NFT space. I mean, I'll tell you right now, Savage, I'll freaking pick you up. We're road tripping over there. I want to check that out. That's gonna be really cool.
Have you
And I'm
have
really,
you looked at the video on Twitter for this yet?
please put it on.
Let's go, because I've not
You just
watched
need
it
to see
either.
it.
I waited just for
Oh,
this.
my man. Just a teeny tiny project.
Big old warehouse.
What? Fucking.
I like the animation.
All those
That
jobs
hype
are
music.
thanks to crypto. Just remember that.
Nice to see him using some of his crypto funds. It's looking slick. So Beeple's building.
Part one. Can't wait for part two. I mean, can you imagine what this guy's concept of a gallery artist workshop is? I remember, like, I think, like, what was his last piece? Wasn't it that huge astronaut with like, that was like a rectangle cube kind of thing?
I don't know what
Uh,
his last one was.
it was really,
It,
really,
Beeple's
really
out of my
dope.
price range. I try not to look at stuff I can't afford, because then, you know, if you're on like what Instagram all day looking at other people's lives, you just get unhappy with your own. So it's like I can't afford a Beeple NFT. Maybe I'll see it
You
on
don't need to be.
NFT
You don't
news or
need to. You
something.
don't want to own a Beeple NFT, man. You're gonna be like watching over your back for the rest of your life, but you can get inspired by it, right? And like, man, this guy is like, I mean, that's just massive. It's so inspiring. All those people like building that place, like, just imagine like what it does to the local economy there, right? Like, this is like impacting IRL, you know, and not for necessarily financial gain, right? So cool to see. Oh, Nifty Q. I'm gonna have to, yeah, I'm telling you, man, road trip. We're all going. It's gonna be dope. Um, and you know, like something that's similar or along the same lines that I'm also really pumped about, because I am going to that Savage, is next month Mexico City is going to be hosting Bright Moments Gallery. I don't know if you're familiar
No.
with the Bright Moments generative art movement. Really dope. I encourage you to check it out. Basically, they started off in Venice, California, and their whole concept is like setting up these like pop-up gallery spaces, right? Where they literally bring people IRL, onboarding them into NFTs, right? And
Hmm.
so they have this project called the Citizens, right? And so it's like the crypto Venetians, and then they did one in New York, and it was like the crypto New Yorkers. They went to Berlin, they did London, and now
Wow.
they're going to Mexico City, man. It's gonna be fucking amazing. Some of the top like OG like generative artists are gonna be there presenting like their newest pieces, and like it's cool because it's IRL. You know, you literally get to go and walk into space, see somebody like mint, and the minting process is also very unique, right? So like I hear, I think I don't know if it was the one in Berlin. You like walk into a room and there'd be like a little computer or like a piano piece or something, and like that was like the whole process. So it's a little bit like performance art with you know, IRL like community building and space. And then usually like that's the thing that they do, right? Like they go there and set up shop for like a couple of weeks. People can go there, look at it, find out what generative art, what NFTs are. It's brilliant. It's a great way of onboarding community. And when they leave, they try to leave there again like a community of people that have been onboarding into the space that are going to get, you know, that are like an umbilical cord, right, tied to this project with get support where you can start like really getting into the space, man. It's so exciting, man. I'm really
That,
pumped about it.
that makes me think of Fun Uncle and his shows he does with the Runway Girls. So that
Yeah.
probably brings a bunch of attention to the town. A bunch of people start looking at that, section. Hop online, check out some of the girls. Then you see some of the different stuff they're wearing, the sunglasses, the shoes, the whatever. So that's awesome.
I,
So like the whole community is going to know this is all crypto based and Web3 based, and they're going to be jumping into the metaverse and checking it out and learning who Beeple is and getting into NFTs.
yeah.
So this is like you said, this is a great way to get some
And they're
some
gonna be like,
growth and
this
some
guy's
development.
local, right? This
Yeah.
guy's here. Like, you know, it's so freaking cool, man.
Yeah, well, you're gonna
Uh
Google him, realize how much he's worth, and then he's in town. You're definitely gonna go check him out. You're like, holy shit, this dude's someone I need to get to know. Yeah.
dude. And quick, you mentioned Funkel's like IRL experiences with models, which is envious. How crazy is that, dude?
Yeah.
I got your next project, Funkel. It's gonna be called Mint a Model. How's that? You get
Hmm?
to mint a supermodel for the metaverse. It could be like,
Probably make a lot of money.
yeah, man, I'm liking that idea. That's another IRL space experience that I would like to have at some point. Although, like, he's always traveling, it's always somewhere else, like, you know. So I don't know. Where would you think you'd like to go and experience Funkel's chocolate factory of supermodels? I
Huh, man,
think
I don't know. That sounds like a
Miami.
vacation. So somewhere vacationy. I don't know. I think
I see
he
you.
said
I
he was
see you
traveling down to
reaching for the
Mexico.
metaverse goggles.
Yeah, probably in the metaverse, yeah. But yeah, that's one of the benefits of owning a Funkel NFT. If you guys don't have one of those out there, you can go jump out, grab one of Fun Uncle's NFTs. It gives you backstage access to a bunch of different stuff. I
What
love
are they
Fun
called
Uncle.
again?
We'll definitely shout him out.
It's
What is that?
Bites of Paradise, right?
Bites of Paradise. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep. I
Go
got a
check
few of
them
them in
out.
my wallet. They're
Cool
that's
cat, big heart, highly entertaining on Saturdays or Sundays, is it?
Sundays.
Yeah, very
Yep.
informative videos. Talented man, for
Very
sure.
talented. Yeah, and he makes great content. Super entertaining to listen to. Definitely one of the people are going to be building and doing stuff for many years going forward. So A lot of people talk about utility, but only Fun Uncle's getting you into the model runway
Man,
show. So
but
definitely check him out.
how cool is it, right? Like again, like this is him, like because like this is something that he used to do before, right? And he's
Yep.
like merged it and infused it with his own slant, his own take on Web3 and crypto. And again, like going back to Raul Pal and what he likes to harp on a lot is like culture, right? And the expression, ownership, and monetization of it, right? Which was impossible to do. And he likes to reference Disney, right? $250 billion valuation between its parks and merch and all this stuff that they sell, right? But culture, like how do you express that, right? Like it's the ownership of it, how do you track the contribution of it, and how do you monetize that? If you were able to express that in Disney's market cap today, how much do you think that'd be worth? You know, fucking
Disney's
trillions.
worth an ass ton of money. There was a little tiny news article about Disney jumping into Web3 and Metaverse, which is crazy. Disney has a massive IP, and you can see
Fuck
like all the
yeah.
big brands are starting to get into, just like Gift said on the morning show, Metaverse is going to be real popping for this Christmas. And you can see it if you're paying attention to the news because all these different big companies are all starting to do stuff inside the Metaverse. And
It
these
is
people don't
impossible
get it
not to
wrong.
pay attention. It's
Yep.
impossible not to be paying attention. You know when you know and that's what makes me so excited about it. You know, it's like this undercurrent. You know, like just it's always darkest before the dawn, as they say. Yeah, it's dark
Yep.
times right now, but
Yep.
you can feel it. And if you've been in the space for a while, I know our viewers have, I know you have, Savage. We know we're believers, right? It sounds like a cult, but it isn't. Like again, bright moments, Beeple, the other guys, freaking the squiggled out. Did you see that? Freaking swept 14 squiggles off the floor. I think they were
Whoa.
around 10 ETH. That's 140 ETH. What's the squiggle DAO, you ask? Its sole purpose: distribute the art blocks ethos and culture throughout the world, man. And you see it, right? You see it like being put in the WAGMI United shirts, right? Uh, it's again unseen before, or impossible to track or to have that connection with its viewers or with its people, with its fans, right? Uh, there's just so much to do, and that's like I think what we're trying to do here, right? In Web3, it's like educate and share and vibe with this community
Yep.
of passionate Web3 enthusiasts, and invite them and be like, man, there's a lot here, a lot of blue ocean.
Yeah. I'm talking about blue oceans. Do you see Opensea started supporting Avalanche?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I, I'm honestly, I was a little bit shocked, and I'll tell you why right now. Not the biggest fan of AVAX NFTs so far, right? So far, like I do you are you a participant? Do you partake in the NFT
Uh,
AVAX space?
not on AVAX. I only have NFTs, I guess, on Wax because that's where we started with Lad City and all this different stuff. I actually just got a pack sent to me from Crypto Stash last night. I was on his stream and won a pack on there. So that's the latest NFT I've got is on Wax. But otherwise, I've been like strictly ETH. Even though I'm a big Soul guy, I've just never jumped over on Soul. I don't know why. I have no good reasons. I'm a big supporter of Soul. I have a bunch of it staked. I, I like AVAX. I like Polkadot. I like Cosmos. I know they're doing some stuff in the news. I mean, I'm not chain. I think all these different chains are going to do well, and they're all going to have their own little space. Like if you think America, just example, takes ETH, and then maybe Canada takes AVAX, and then Russia takes Polkadot, and like I think that's how it's going to work because like big companies, every country has their own like big banking section with all their different apps, websites, whatever. I think that's how it's going to work here. Like different countries are going to adopt different chains, and they're just going to grow out that ecosystem. And I think there's room for most of them to thrive and do really
I
well.
I think you're onto something there, Savage. Like geographical, what would it be? Adoption of certain chains is very noticeable, right? I'm a
Hmm.
big fan of Near, for example. Uh, I I'm baffled as to why it has not been because it's like literally like the best way to describe it is Ethereum with sharding already working.
Okay.
uh Brilliant, brilliant people, and unfortunately like very much about like from Europe, like from Ukraine, like a lot of the development devs are from Ukraine and all that. So I don't know if that's the reason why it's kind of stalled a little bit, but honestly, amazing tech, a really cool NFT eco space and DeFi eco space. Their EVM Aurora is like so cool to use. I love trying out new stuff, like even if it's just
Oh
with a
yeah.
little bit. And I think like we should have like some kind of like weekly challenge here in NFT live shows, like go try out some different chain, like not
Yeah.
fucking. Here's a challenge for our viewers right now. Can't be Polygon, can't be Solana, can't be Tezos, it can't be Ethereum. Fine, AVAX counts, but like I'd love to like I'd love for you guys to like show me your quirky weird chains. I'll go first. Like I said, I'm a big Near fan. I'm also a big fan of Stacks, which is like a side chain from of Bitcoin. But man, show me your Phantoms, your Arbitrums, your Optimism NFTs. I'd love to hear what you're tinkering with. That's
Yeah.
you gotta really go out to the fringe, right, to find the gems or the possible gems in the future, right?
Shout out to Llama talking about trust, like, and subscribe. Nice to see Llama on the stream with us today. I know it's like 1 a.m. his time or something like that, 2 a.m. Big shout out to my guy
Dang,
Llama. Always love to see you in chat. I think he was the first person that reached out to me when I started viewing on chat and was interacting with me in the comments, and that's what got me into Lad City. Um, I was talking with Llama and Hashrams the other day about different chains that we were looking at, and we were just talking about AVAX. So it's
man,
nice to see that they're doing some stuff and getting some traction and some movement over on that chain because a lot
very
of smart
bullish on
people over
that chain.
there. Yep.
Very bullish. I think like they had. Well, I was part of it, like when they. I don't know if you remember when they launched their like first NFTs. I think they were called AVAX trees. Everybody was like, "Oh, dude, I don't know. I think I got like 15 of those, which were not cheap." But since Amir Gonsider got some, I was like, they must be good. Obviously, it was just based on taste. Not the prettiest NFTs, to be honest. Now in retrospect, but yeah, like it's crazy that it hasn't had the same traction that like something like Solana has, right? Because I think it's equally as fast, user friendly, maybe even more so because you don't need a special wallet for it like you do with Solana, right? Like it's just set up your RPCs and you're good to go. Um, I'm starting to see some cool stuff like the Star Atlasy type of games start to come out. I'm looking forward to it, man. Please, 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 like that's the stuff that I want to see. Like
Yeah.
I'd love to see more of that on Discord. Like just the crazier, the better. Doge chain, bring it.
I've heard you talk about that a couple times, saying there's utility over on Doge, and I've never actually
How
jumped
crazy,
onto
right?
there and actually set it up. So this is a good challenge for me too, because I have like a Tez wallet, a Solana wallet, but I don't interact with those chains. I don't do anything on those chains. So having
And
like a
one,
push to actually get into this stuff with the community and all our viewers out there, this would be like good for me because I
hell
get
yeah.
stuck learning different things. And I'm, right now I'm not doing some crypto learning and I need to get back into that so we can start, getting on over some of these other chains and continuing to be
And one
foreigners in the
caveat,
space.
right? And I'm sure you know this, like good hygiene in crypto is paramount. Is like set up your own burner wallet. You don't need to
Hmm.
send all your funds there. We can touch upon it right now. One of the things that we're going to bring up is like Cosmos, right? Right now, huge attack vector just got discovered, and I'm very bullish on Cosmos. I think, and I think you do as well, Savage,
Yep.
that it's going to be a multi-chain world, and so cross-chain protocols like Cosmos are going to be juggernauts in this space, right? And again, it's crazy to imagine that there's not going to be any flaws there, right? I think it is like the new frontier, and so it is to be expected that there's going to be a lot of hackers interested in finding weak spots in these protocols. But I think it's still important to have like some funds in a crazy wallet where if you lose it, it's no big deal, but where you go and you experiment with all these different technologies, right? Because again, to your point, Savage, like there's, like when I started like getting involved with Tezos, like I don't know if you know, like there's a lot of French people that are very passionate about Tezos. Like a lot of Europeans adopt Tezos for some reason. It's a very different ecosystem than the one on Ethereum or on Stacks, right? And it's like freaking, you like something like Doge Chain, right? Laughable, right? Like I had never really bought Doge Chain until Dogecoin until I found about Doge Chain, and I was like, okay, there's an argument to be made here, right? Because it's still one of the top market cap chains out there,
Yep.
and if you infuse that with good functionality and incite these people to bridge or wrap, in this case, their Dogecoin and start using it for DeFi, for gaming, for NFTs. I mean, really, there's opportunity there, right? And it
For
behooves us
sure.
to be there first to see what's good, right? And
I mean, that's smart. I love co-hosting with you because you open my brain to stuff that I'm not doing. I have some Doge sitting in a wallet and it's just chilling there.
exactly.
I should be talking with Biggie. I should be, wrapping it up, using it in DeFi and these different places. I think Cosmos is going to be huge. It runs other chains. It's a layer 0, like it runs BNB, which is a layer 1. I can't believe there are not more people attempting to mess with that chain, or we haven't seen more exploits over there. That's probably just because it's so well built. I'm a big
Hmm.
believer in Cosmos. I think that one, layer zeros, how do you not bet on a layer 0? It's like we can
Yeah,
make a layer 1. You can do whatever the hell you want on it. Go over there, become the next BNB chain, which is massive and
and
blew up.
be
Yeah.
first, right? Like, and
Yep.
again, not financial advice. We're just a pair of
Oh yeah.
YouTubers right now
That's
shooting the
right.
shit. Please don't come at us if you lose your bags or anything. But like a couple of tips, like that I always approach is like, okay, uh, what seems to be uh, the NFT with the best community at the moment, right? And usually you can pick those up very inexpensively. Check out their Discord, their Twitter, blah blah blah. Maybe hold one of those. What's their best bridge or DEX? Maybe usually they have some incentives or something that you where you can start earning. Stake them and forget about it, right? And again, not all your funds, just enough to play around with. And sometimes you can be very pleasantly surprised, if these protocols take off and actually garner some attention, right? Some adoption. So it's something that I really love to do. I'm passionate about it, and I'm going to continue to harp on it as long as you guys allow me up here in this stage
Hey, let's
to,
go.
to show me your quirkiest, craziest freaking ideas, because that's what it's all about, man. That's how you
I
learn.
love that because and Llama's always talking about doing DeFi stuff, and I'm always a little bit too scared to stick my toe in and jump in that. No, this is a good push for me because I get to go interact with some of these chains.
And
I'll call it research
baby
for the
steps, right,
show.
Savage? Like, like,
That's
like
right,
you
baby
don't need to go
steps.
provide like liquidity and like you can do single-sided liquidity, a little bit safer, just like single-sided staking. Still a lot of plenty of risk, but can be good reward too.
Llama talks about doing two stable coins together. So like if you go into a different chain, you can throw their stable coin in some USDC or whatever, and then can't really lose any money, right? Because it's pegged to the dollar and people are going to exchange back and forth. So you make a little bit of gains doing that.
Yeah.
Smart, smart. Shout out to Llama out there doing
And,
stuff that I'm not doing. This is why it's nice to have the Discord community. I get to
and you
talk to
know,
Biggie, Llama. People push you in the right direction.
and Lama's mentioning something right now about his fear being that there will be too many chains and too few users. And that's a valid point. Again, I'm not down with the people that like to, the people that like to cite the Lord of the Rings, like one ring to lure them all, or a couple fellowship of rings, like just a couple, like not can't have too many. I don't give a shit. Like you can have 1,000, and like again, the majority are gonna die, but I honestly don't want to like put a cap on it, And I think you're gonna find out eventually, like which chains are more useful for certain things, right? Like I think I still think there's a place for security tokens, right? Like some
100%.
people that do not like, they want everything to be decentralized, right? Everything. You might not get that, and I'm sorry to say it, but you might not. Like certain things do require government oversight and have already been established. It's just a monumental task to onboarded onto decentralized protocols, right? But for example, I think a lot about travels. I do like traveling is my passion. It's where I spend most of my money and time. And when you travel sometimes to different countries, well, you got to find out, like one of the first things you want to investigate is like the currency exchange situation and how best to go about it, right? It's one thing to go to Europe and understand that like in first world economies, like you're usually going to have like pretty fair, regulated exchange places, right? But say I go to Argentina, say I go to Venezuela, right? Like things change rapidly over there, right? Like, and then all of a sudden, like maybe when you go there, it's like, yeah, we don't like Bitcoin. We prefer Tezos, or we prefer Phantom, or we prefer this stable coin over another, And I think I like that. I want to have uh fucking cute. Yeah, turncoating, man. I fuck with all of them, dude. I want that. I want to have options. I don't want to be ever landlocked into, I mean, look, like here in the United States, we're stuck with a two-party system. What the fuck, right? Like,
Yeah.
Why? Why? For the love of God, I want as many options as possible, and the cream always rises to the top. But
Yep.
the more options you have, the harder I think it's going to be for entities to control this space. And I think it's already we're all pretty cognizant that it's pretty much out of their hands now, right? Like I think Marty McFly was mentioning early in the episode that he thinks bankers and everything might be controlling crypto. And I understand the sentiment and the feeling because they are all powerful, all knowing, and goddamn, they're coming for our balls right now, right? But this is exactly when I think they're going to hit a wall and they're going to figure out that it's a little bit too late. Cat's out of the bag. You cannot put back the genie back in the bottle, as they say. But one of the, I think, tactics, approaches that we are employing right now is that it's like not limiting ourselves to one chain, one protocol, right? And I implore all our viewers out there to be more open-minded. Being a maxi just fucks you, right?
Well,
Like
you stop learning
you're
too.
limiting yourself.
You get comfortable in the chains you're in, and then you stop growing. And then,
Mm-hmm.
you make your opinions on other chains just because you don't want to go check it out. And, there's a
Exactly.
reason why you probably think Ethereum or Sol or, whatever chain, Bitcoin, Doge, there's a reason you think it's the best. It's because it's the one that you interact the most with. And you're in that ecosystem, you're in that bubble on Twitter where everyone's giving you positive feedback. But, we are the people that are first in this space. So we have to be uncomfortable. You have to go jump into other chains that you don't understand. You have to push yourself. And like you said, be careful about it. Use a burner wallet, just tiny little bit of funds so you can, check out all these different bridges, all these different chains, and you can continue to grow. Like, I really like your suggestion because it's gonna keep me on
You form your
the
own
learning curve.
opinion based on
Yep.
experience, right? And not what like the
Mm-hmm.
mediums and everybody else is trying to sell you or show you or tell you, including me. Don't listen to me. Dogecoin may not turn out to be anything special.
Hey, it might turn out to be the next currency of the whole world.
How crazy would that be? I am
Watch.
convinced. So I am convinced, Savage, there will be some food, dog, or cat fucking coin in the next bull run.
Yep.
I don't know which one it is, but I know there's a bunch of degens out there hedging their bets, looking for the next Shiba, the next Dogecoin. And heck, you know, again, like I'd love to be able to catch it. I'm not gonna dedicate my freaking 100% of my time looking for it, but imagine, can you imagine? Like I've seen people post like their ETH transactions, like of like having bought like $200 worth of Shiva back in the day, and like just how much it would have been worth at its height, right?
Yeah.
And it's I get it. It's silly. It's 100% degen and irresponsible, and it's not for everybody. That's fine. But mark my words, Web3 community, there will be a dog, fruit, vegetable, kitten
Yep.
coin that's gonna rock our
Yep.
world next fucking bull
And
market.
in the bear market, like right now, these are when the best prices are. I mean, some of these prices out there are absolutely crazy. I
Fire
mean,
sale, yeah.
man, fire sale, fire sale. If you got any like extra liquidity, you know, you might don't really care if you lose it, but you know, that might be the one that 300x or 30x. You throw $30 into Doge and it might be worth a couple thousand
And you're
dollars.
retired. You're
Yep.
retired, Savage.
Yep.
You can build your holodeck finally, man. What would you do in your holodeck? Is another bonfire? Huge like bonfire in your living room? It's like virtual bonfire.
You know, if I didn't have to have a job and I was totally financially set, you'd probably see me, I don't know, streaming all day, or you know, probably doing this. You know, I do this because I love it and I love hanging out with you. I love hanging out with our community. If I had
Likewise.
no money issues or responsibilities, I'd be here all day. I'd be with you guys hanging out. Like I love.
I know
learning. I
one
love
thing.
getting
Your
pushed.
lighting setup would be fucking awesome,
Hey,
which it
let's
is
go.
already. Dude. I can only imagine it. You're like
Hey,
Savage's like light museum, Lightworks museum.
yeah,
That'd be
shout out
fucking
to the
cool.
girlfriend for, you know, allowing me to keep all this stuff in the living room, because this is my living room right here. You know, I got, you know, my computers, which there are several of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 sitting in here. I should have turned on the big screen first, you know, next time. But you know, I was busy playing around with those emulators and stuff. That's why it's over there. So hook it right up. We're gonna go. I'm excited. I got some. What was your favorite controller? What was your favorite system?
Okay, well, I'm just gonna say it. I was a GoldenEye freak. Nintendo
64.
64,
Yeah, that's what a
like
lot of people say.
you know, like weekends on end, like just nonstop. Like it was so much fun. I still, you put that in front of me, and it's gonna be hard to get me to let go. And there was just something cool about it, right? Because it was like 3 little prongs in
Yep.
the bottom, so it was like
Yep.
I don't know. It just felt right. Although I did not mind the Stadia one, like it was, you know, I got the hang of it at some point. I'm not too picky about them. I'm picky about the ones that they make you use the keyboard. I hate that shit, Savage. It's
Really?
like, yeah, you know, I'm one of those that like has to look at the keyboard and like finger type. So this shit about like WSAD or whatever, it's like, what? Come on, man. How do I float? How do I fly? How do I flip over? It's
You know
weird.
what? I didn't grow up gaming. You know, didn't have a whole lot of money growing up. So, you know, I got like a PS2 or, you know, something like that. But I'm
On
horrible with the
PlayStation was
controller.
cool.
I'm
Yeah,
horrible with the controller. So I definitely prefer
the
the
keyboard.
keyboard with the mouse, because you don't have to have your joysticks just right to aim. It's a lot easier to move your mouse and click. But hey, you know, maybe that'll change. I bought an adapter so we can use you know, the GameCube controller. So maybe I need one for the N64 as well, because that was the girlfriend's reply too. That was her favorite system, her favorite controller. So maybe I have to connect that one up, make that one work as well. I don't know. I always liked the PlayStation controller. I thought it fit my hand really well. It was really
Yeah.
nice. But it's probably just because
Oh,
it was the first system I really gamed on.
definitely a PlayStation over Xbox person over here myself too. But yeah, that's like my jam, dude. But yeah, it was like that, and like maybe I'm a fan of like Assassin's Creed, like God of War, like whenever those comes out, it's like yeah, I'll do what needs to be done to play that.
With all these different games building around NFTs and stuff, do you think we're gonna see like a Solana gaming system one day, or you think
I
everyone's
wouldn't.
gonna
It's
do
taken a while,
computers?
huh? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they already went after the phone,
Yep.
right? Which I think I do agree that like I think like the onboarding, like the games that are we're gonna see take off first initially in Web3 will be more like your Farmville type, your Avagachis. I know we have a
Addictive
couple of
games.
Avagachi crew there. I'm fucking awesome, dude. I am so pumped about Avagachi. I'm really looking forward to having that be adopted a lot more. Just the thought process, right? Where it's like we're not trying to be like 10K only. It's like we want everybody to own an Avagachi. That's gonna be dope. Are you into Avagachi?
I'm not into that one.
Cute little
But
fucking like phantom thingies. Like
oh, no,
adorable.
I've seen it. I think it's a cool ecosystem. That's just not. So most of the NFTs that I own, I've worked for the project somehow. I was either
Okay.
there as their DJ, I was a moderator, I was admin, I do security for them. That's how I get into a lot of my different NFTs, because then you get to see the back end, you get to talk to the team,
Smart.
you get real bullish on
Yeah.
the project. So that's how I find a lot of my projects. I've never done anything with
Fucking
Avagachi,
smart.
so I haven't looked into their ecosystem. I like investing in stuff that I feel like I can touch, or I know a little bit something about it. When you're reading about an NFT project, or you hear an influencer or whoever talk about it, I don't know. That's the pitch that you give the public. I'm not trying to listen to someone's elevator pitch about their project and why I should invest in it. I like hearing it,
For sure.
from the founder, from the team. When they talk about it, you in staff chat, you get to see how pumped they are. Like, that's where I typically end up investing, just because I don't know. I like hearing it from actual people. When you just get a PR release on Twitter or Discord or whatever, and you get that little elevator pitch, that's meant for the sheeple. Like, pitch me directly.
That's very, very smart. And also, I think, like, I mean, since you've been also a gamer, like sometimes you see, like, I guess it's like some kind of like gamer pattern recognition, right? Where like you see something and you're like, oh man, like I used to play something very similar to this, and I love the graphics. And
Yeah.
again, like make sure the team and everybody else knows what the hell they're doing, but you're like, oh, I'm gonna throw a couple of shekels here, see what happens, That's kind of what was my reason for getting on the Avagachi train, but it's worked out so far. Yay. Fucking awesome.
I don't know. Let's see. Is anyone else out there feeling the gaming fever? Is it cold where you are, or is it still hot? It's definitely cold over here in Minnesota. What's your temperature down? You're down in like New Mexico or Texas?
I'm in Texas now,
Texas?
and it's good. It's starting to get a little chilly.
What's cold in Texas? 70?
No, man. Like especially over here, no, we can get pretty low. But no. Maybe like low 60s. High 50s. I mean, nothing compared to you, brother. But I am familiar with that cold. I've lived in Maine, like with the Maynards and the Massachusetts and all that shit. I honestly think like God invented that so that like humans wouldn't live in those fucking latitudes, but we're so stubborn, right? And like we figure out bonfires and shit, and we're like, I love it here. We're staying.
Yeah. I mean, I sleep well when it's cold, and I'm not a big bug fan. When it freezes and it snows, all your critters gone. I can put up with a little bit of snow to know that I'm not going to have this bunch of critters and stuff under my bed. I don't have like a spider net.
You know what I used to love about it is that you could leave your beers outside and they'd be perfectly cold.
Well,
no need for a fucking
if it gets too cold, all those suckers will explode. I've definitely had like a 12-pack of Coke that I had in my car. You go out on lunch, you grab one while you're working. I definitely had one of those just fucking explode, all 12 of them.
Nuts.
Horrible. I forgot it in the car. You're like, I'll get it tomorrow. Boom. Just done. If you ever hear one of those go off live, sounds crazy.
Oof.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah.
It definitely happens. Gets too cold, freezes everything. Me, I'd rather keep them in my fridge. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're easy to get to.
Like a regular human being. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you can go grab a cooler and some snow and throw it all in there and keep it right next to your like computer chair or whatever. So you don't even have to get up.
Fucking dope, man. So dope, dude.
All right. Man. Well, this has been a super fun episode of NFT Live. What are your plans for the weekend? I know time just disappears, right?
I am so pumped. Like I have a friend actually coming over soon. There's this new beer garden that they opened up. It's like about 30-minute ride out into the countryside. So it
All right.
feels like a vacation, Savage, but like we're actually really close to home. And it's like really cool because like you don't feel like you're in the city. They've got some pretty good beers. Like I'm a fan of like Vienna lagers, like ambers and Killing Reds kind of stuff. And so they have some really good ones there that I'm looking at. My friend hasn't been there, so that's the plan. I'm gonna go over there, throw down a couple of those, and then see where the rest of the day takes me. And then yeah, weekend is for family time and for catching up on stuff. Get ready for the next week. Crush it.
Yeah, disconnect, touch some grass, hang out with the family. I'm looking forward to that too. I work a lot of weekends, but I think I think I gotta disconnect this weekend, go enjoy a fire. This might be the last one I get to attend this year. So,
Dude, please upload a picture. I want to see one.
all right,
I want to see a savage fire. Like
all right.
I want to get inspired, man. Please do. And to all our lads out there that tuned in, man, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please remember to like, subscribe, join us in the Discord, man. Oh, look at that.
He's
He's
asking to get
awake.
fed. He's asking to
Oh.
get fed. He's like an hour and a half away.
Oh, that's why she's awake.
You gotta
She'd
wait
be
a little
asleep.
bit. Yeah, he's usually hanging out with me. He knows when I put the headphones on, I'm usually on a call or something. So he's
Nice.
a good boy. He just goes and sleeps and hangs out. But I hope everyone had an awesome time with us on NFT Live. I know I did. Be
Fucking
sure
awesome.
to check out Fun Uncle on Sunday. Jump on the Web3 morning show Monday through Thursday. They do NFT Live right after that. And then you got the Savage and Biggie version of NFT Live every Friday. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Be sure to jump in our Discord. Like, share, subscribe, share us out. Go touch some grass this weekend, hang out with the family, disconnect.
Have a good, awesome weekend, fellas. Take it easy.
Take it easy.